Is Mr. Potato Head becoming another victim of the PC mob? The transgender nominee for Assistant Secretary at HHS was grilled by Senator Rand Paul. Plus, Trump basher Liz Cheney is in hot water again. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Hope you had a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with Mr. Potato Head. Remember that toy? I had one. It was awesome. You take your plastic potato, you open up the compartment, you've got all these accessories. You've got arms and legs and nose and eyes and glasses and mustaches, hats, all of this stuff. One side note, in researching this story, it started out with just the accessories. You'd plug it into a real potato, but then it evolved. You got your potato in your compartment. You had Mr. Potato Head. You had Mrs. Potato Head. Well, that was then. That was when you had men and women, males and females. You know, the left likes to say they follow the science. Yeah, they follow the science unless it doesn't suit their needs, like with lockdowns and coronavirus and boys playing on girls' sports teams and good old-fashioned biology, two genders, men and women, male and female. Well, that wokeness, that PC culture is taken over at Mr. Potato Head because apparently, according to their VP, Mr. and Mrs. are too limiting and we need to get rid of them for the sake of evolution. And here's the story. Mr. Potato Head is getting a woke makeover for a 2021 audience. Fast Company reports that kids will soon play with potato head toys, sans Mr. and Mrs., due to their limiting nature. Kimberly Boyd, a senior vice president and general manager at Hasbro, who works on the Potato Head brand, told the website that culture has evolved beyond such titles, which have been used since 1952. Who knew? Who knew that Mr. and Mrs. were limiting? I mean, there's two genders, right? Male and female, two descriptors, Mr. and Mrs. or Miss. I thought that's logical. That seems logical for two genders. I had no idea it was limiting and that we needed to evolve past this. And here's more. Kids want to be able to represent their own experiences. The way the brand currently exists with the Mr. and Mrs. is limiting when it comes to both gender identity and family structure, she said for a piece published Thursday. This means the toys don't impose a fixed notion of gender identity or expression, freeing kids to do whatever feels most natural to them, Fast Company reported. A girl potato might want to wear pants, and a boy potato might want to wear earrings. Hasbro will also sell box sets that don't present a normative family structure. This approach is clever because it allows kids to project their own ideas about gender, sexuality, and family onto the toy without necessarily offending parents that have more conservative notions about families. Did you get all of that? It's absolute nonsense that they put so much thought into what is going on with this toy for kids. Just let them play. It's absolutely outrageous. And there's nothing wrong with a box set that has Mr. and Mrs. and a family. It's just outrageous. But here's the thing. Apparently, this is not exactly what Hasbro is thinking, or the words of the VP received so much backlash that they had to backpedal and clarify a bit. So Hasbro got on Twitter yesterday and put out this statement. Hold that taut. Your main spud, Mr. Potato Head, isn't going anywhere. While it was announced today that the Potato Head brand name and logo are dropping the Mr., I am proud to confirm that Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head aren't going anywhere and will remain Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. So they're saying just the overall brand is becoming Potato Head, but there's still going to be a Mr. and Mrs. Interesting how that came out after the VP's comments. So this just leads folks to some overall thoughts I want to leave you on this issue. Again, the left pushed this narrative, and what they want to do is along the lines of faith and family and freedom and patriotism and family. They want to go after the traditional structures that bind us together so that everything is splintered, everything is fractured, and the only unifying thing in their minds is government. That's what they want to push. The other interesting thing that I always find fascinating with this whole argument is that just like they said, this VP said that boys might want to wear earrings and girls might want to wear pants. They always try to say that men and women, there's no difference between them at all. You can compete. You can carry the same load in the military. There's no difference. These are just stereotypes with the dresses and all of this stuff. And yet, when a man says he's transgender and wants to live his life as a woman, what does he do? He puts on a dress, long hair, makeup, earrings. He dresses like a woman, which is exactly what they say you shouldn't do, and that's just a stereotype. It doesn't make any sense, folks. All right, so next, along that transgender line, we've got a big story regarding Rand Paul. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. But when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 150,000 subscribers, and we can do it with your help. All right, so now I want to talk about Rand Paul and Dr. Rachel Levine. If you don't know this guy, this is a guy. This is a man. He will always be a man, always has been a man, but he is living his life as a woman. He was an official in Pennsylvania, and now this transgender was nominated by Joe Biden to be Assistant Secretary at Health and Human Services. So that nominee was there. This is a confirmation hearing. Rand Paul is grilling this guy on what is going on with minors, with teenagers being pushed by the left to get hormone therapy, to mutilate themselves with these gender reassignment surgeries. So Rand Paul was asking about it. Check out this clip.
Dr. Levine, you have supported both allowing minors to be given hormone blockers to prevent them from going through puberty, as well as surgical destruction of a minor's genitalia. Like surgical mutilation, hormonal interruption of puberty can permanently alter and prevent secondary sexual characteristics. The American College of Pediatricians reports that 80 to 95% of prepubertal children with gender dysphoria will experience resolution by late adolescence if not exposed to medical intervention and social affirmation. Dr. Levine, do you believe that minors are capable of making such a life-changing decision as changing one's sex?
So a couple key points there that I just want to point out. One is the study where he says 80 to 95% of these kids who suffer gender dysphoria will come out of it on their own. It'll just resolve on its own without the influence from the left. 80 to 95%. But instead, they want to grab these kids, influenced undoubtedly by left-wing parents, and push hormones on them that will block puberty, that will change them internally forever, change their chemistry. And they want to push surgery that will amputate, will disfigure them forever. This is what they want to push on kids, and this Dr. Rachel Levine supports this. So, with that questioning, here's the response.
Well, Senator, thank you for your interest in this question. Transgender medicine is a very complex and nuanced field with robust research and standards of care that have been developed. And if I am fortunate enough to be confirmed as the Assistant Secretary of Health, I would look forward to working with you and your office and coming to your office and discussing the particulars of the standards of care for transgender medicine.
What? Transgender medicine, first of all, that's the biggest misnomer there is a nuanced field, and he looks forward to talking to Rand Paul about it. Absolutely outrageous. Did not address and answer the question at all. It was a direct question. It was very specific, and it was just evasion. That was it. Evade the question. Don't give an answer. So Rand Paul went at him again.
The specific question was about minors. Let's be a little more specific since you evaded the question. Do you support the government intervening to override the parent's consent to give a child puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and/or amputation surgery of breasts and genitalia? For most of our history, we believe that minors don't have full rights and the parents need to be involved. So I'm alarmed that you won't say with certainty that minors should not have the ability to make the decision to take hormones that will affect them for the rest of their life. Will you make a more firm decision on whether or not minors should be involved in these decisions?
So even more direct. So what do you think the response would be? Finally, a direct answer, something that addresses the question right on specifically? Here you go.
Senator, transgender medicine is a very complex and nuanced field, and if confirmed to the position of Assistant Secretary of Health, I would certainly be pleased to come to your office and talk with you and your staff about the standards of care and the complexity of this field.
Nope, I didn't repeat that clip. That is a new answer, a new non-answer, which was the same non-answer as before. It's absolutely outrageous. And just an aside, it burns me up at these confirmation hearings when a direct, simple question is asked and they just give these lawyerly non-response answers. That should be disqualifying. But in this particular case, there is no way this nominee should be confirmed. If you believe that it is okay to give hormone therapy to children, to support surgeries, disfiguring surgeries for children, even without their parents' consent, you should not be in government. You should not be in a leadership position at all. This is the nominee. This is the person that Joe Biden supports for this position. This person should not be there, should be rejected. You cannot support this kind of torture on children and advance in this country. No way. Next, let's talk about Liz Cheney, because she's in hot water again. If you recall, she's one of 10 House GOP members who voted to impeach President Trump, and the fallout was intense. She was censured by her state party, numerous county parties. She drew a primary opponent, and many people in the GOP in the House wanted her gone from her leadership position. The word was that the majority favored that. So vote, if they had it, she'd be out. Well, GOP leadership put the hammer down, and when they did have the vote, she was voted in overwhelmingly to keep her spot. And the word was, it's because they want to move on and have unity. She got the message, apparently, but we're just going to move on from that and be united. Well, maybe not so fast, because at a press conference of the GOP leadership, Kevin McCarthy was asked about President Trump and the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, and here's the exchange.
Do you believe President Trump should be speaking, or former President Trump should be speaking at CPAC this weekend?
Yes, he should.
Okay, simple enough. Direct question. Kevin McCarthy answered it. Yes, he should. Move on from there. But then the reporter seized on the opportunity and asked Liz Cheney the same question.
Congresswoman Cheney?
That's up to CPAC. I've been clear in my views about President Trump and the extent to which following January 6th, I don't believe that he should be playing a role in the future of the party or the country.
So she says that former President Trump should not have a role in the future of our party or the country. So much for unity. And here's the thing, folks. A perfectly fine political answer would have been, it's up to CPAC, which is what she said at the beginning. So just stop there. But she went on. Unprovoked, unpushed, she went on and gave the additional stuff. So she thought about that. She gave that. And it goes completely counter to the unity message that we're trying to push. Come together. Whether she likes President Trump or not, the facts are that he has a huge following and he has huge influence, and he is going to be a factor in the 2022 election, helping get Republicans elected. Whether she likes that or not, just stop at it's up to CPAC. She put those in, and it shows that she does not care about unity, which Kevin McCarthy and others are pushing, so she should not be in that leadership position. So that led to this awkward closing of the press conference.
On that high note, thank you all very much.
Yep, that was awkward. And that press conference led to reaction to outrage by members of the House Conservative Caucus. And here's the story. The chair of the Conservative House Freedom Caucus is urging Representative Liz Cheney to step down from her position as the number 3 House Republican in leadership over her latest critical comments of former President Donald Trump. She should step down, Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona told reporters on Thursday. And Representative Chip Roy of Texas, another House Freedom Caucus member, said Cheney has forfeited her right to be chair of the Republican caucus. Absolutely right. You do this again and again when supposedly we're supposed to push unity, but these leaders like Mitch McConnell or Mitt Romney or Liz Cheney think that they can just say disunifying comments like that against the person who is the leader of the party who is still massively popular. That doesn't show sound judgment. It doesn't show leadership at all. She should be gone. And that leads us to today, where we have Liz Cheney, we have Dr. Rachel Levin. We got to ask them, do you have a relaxed brain?
I got what you call a relaxed brain.
All right, let's start with the Democrats. We'll go through this really quick because it's just outrageous. The Democrats want to let illegal aliens into the country with coronavirus, let them loose in the country because sending them home would help spread coronavirus to foreign countries. They don't care about letting them in and spreading it in America. They just don't want them to spread it to foreign countries. And here's the story. In March 2020, former President Trump imposed a CDC order known as Title 42 that allows federal immigration officials to quickly return border crossers to their native countries to prevent adding to the current public health emergency in the U.S. Nearly 460,000 border crossers have been expelled and deported from the U.S. since March 2020, thanks to Title 42. A group of 61 House Democrats, though, are asking Biden to end Title 41, arguing that the U.S. is contributing to the global spread of the coronavirus by deporting border crossers to their native countries. Instead, the House Democrats say the border crossers should be safely processed and released into the U.S. interior. Can you believe this stuff? This is the relaxed brain of relaxed brain. I saw that story. I couldn't believe it. Well, here's another one. Bill Gates, he's adding to this whole new leftist math is racist narrative. He's donated $1 million. And the people, the organizations that fund it, they are putting guidelines together. They are putting a curriculum together. Here is part of the guide that they've put out on math is racist. One of the group's guides, entitled Dismantling Racism in Mathematics Instruction, lists the focus on getting the right answer, the emphasis on real-world math, state standards directing classroom instruction, and the sequential teaching of skills as white supremacy culture. That's white supremacy culture. It's just outrageous, folks. And then we'll end with the Babylon Bee. And this is in line, in spirit, with Joe Biden's rebranding of kids in cages to migrant facilities for children. And along that line, we have the creepy clown Pennywise from It, the It horror movie, with his own rebranding. And here it is. Pennywise the Clown rebrands underground sewer layer as overflow facility for unaccompanied minors. Anyway, that one just cracked me up. I just had to share it. Folks, that's our show for today. Going to be at CPAC, leaving pretty soon. It should be a great weekend. If you're there, come up and see me. I'd be happy to talk to you, talk about the show. I'll give you a hat if I've got some extras. It should be a fun time. Our next show will be Monday, regular time, 11:45 a.m. Central. Until then, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. And we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.